Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye. Bye. Let's get to this intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button already, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I highly appreciate your support, man. I'm very humbled by it. Fucking Josh Hokit, brother, right? Josh Hokit, if you don't know who he is, man, he is an ex-Fresno Bulldog. No, not a gang member, but he went to Fresno State College. He was actually a good running back for Fresno State and actually was drafted by the 49ers and played on their practice squad. So this man is the real deal. He's legitimate. He's athletic, right? But he has a big fucking mouth. I thought I had a big mouth, but that motherfucker right there, right, is different. Well, last night they had the UFC Freedom 250 fights. And I don't know if you guys watched it, but I did. I was able to get home from my little vacation, sit back, and throw on the fights just in time to see Josh Hokit fight. Now, I got mixed emotions, mixed feelings when it comes to this individual. But last night, he did the unthinkable. He said what a lot of people want to say, and he had the balls to say it on camera. With the biggest platform in front of the White House, this man said the unthinkable. But let's get to the fight. Josh Hokit smacked his opponent, smashed him. He actually said, craziness, right? He said that if his opponent tapped out, he was going to follow him in the parking lot and beat his ass up some more. Like, this dude has a mouth, but also backs it up. When I first seen him, I said, this old WWE character, right? Looking like a mix between the Macho Man Randy Savage and Hamzat Chimaev, right? He just got a big fucking mouth. But when dudes have big mouth but back it up, what can you do? You know, it makes you mad because everybody wanted to see him get his ass whooped because he runs his neck, right? Selling them wolf tickets. But the wolf bites, and he bites hard. So he ends up beating the hell out of his opponent, which pretty much was a given based on the dude was sloppy, fat, and tired as soon as he got in there. The ring walk killed it. As soon as that dude walked into the ring, his opponent was over. It was over. I knew Derek Lewis couldn't do nothing. That motherfucker rolls on the ground and shit, takes his shorts off because his balls are sweaty. Like, it was over. And so, okay, Josh Hokit does what he does. He puts major hands on him. Now, again, this fool is very athletic, from Fresno State, was a Bulldog, all that. And so people sleep on the fact that he's an athlete, that he was once a running back, that he was once in the mix like that. And they hear his mouth, you know, they hear him. He says crazy things for attention. But when you're a fighter, when you're in the game, that's part of the package deal. You can't just be good in the ring. And you know, a lot of people say, well, let your actions speak. Yeah, but you could be a good fighter, but boring as fuck. If you have a big mouth like Conor McGregor, if you have a big mouth like Floyd Mayweather, if you have a big mouth like David Benavidez, if you talk your shit and you back it up, then no one can deny. Everyone's going to tune in to watch because they like that shit. Hey, drama sells, right? And the more drama coming out of this man's mouth and he's able to sustain what he says by his hands, then what can you do? It makes everyone love to hate you, right? But they love to watch you at the same time because everybody wants to see you get your ass whooped, and it never happens. Well, that's what's going on with this guy. He's 10-0. He hasn't got his ass whooped. But last night, he did the unthinkable, right? And right when he said it, I was like, I thunk it too. But right when he said it, I was like, ooh, wee. I want to see if this fool gets Joan Rivered. I want to see what happens to this individual for saying something as crazy as this on the White House lawn. This motherfucker done did it, right? I don't know if he was trying to impress Donald Trump. I don't know if he was trying to impress, you know, everybody that was there. I don't know if he's just a stupid ass. But what he said, a lot of fellow Americans agree, but at the same time will never say it because they like their head on their shoulders. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended with the shampoo. This is exactly what happened. So he wins the fight. And I was telling my people as I was with right there watching the fight, I was like, look, trip out. This motherfucker's going to throw his wave cap on, his funny-ass glasses, and he's going to get to saying something stupid. And as soon as those Oakleys went on and that thing went on, it was like over the top. You know what I'm saying? You turn your hat backwards and you turn into a truck, right? Like Sylvester said, I feel like a truck, right? Well, this fool trucked it. He had his one opportunity to challenge the next man, and he did that. He talked about Poetan's mom, right? Disrespected her, said he wanted to shama all over his mama, right? And that's to be expected. He has a rivalry with that dude. And what made it even worse is a couple fights later, fucking Shama gets knocked out. Bad. So it just, this dude can't lose right now. I don't know. He got a devil on his shoulder. Can I kill it? Right? I don't know what's going on. This motherfucker cannot lose. Everything that like he wants to go on in life right now is falling right into the puzzles, just fitting. But this motherfucker goes on there, right? And he's doing this whole little spiel, Shama on your mama, this, and that. And this man has the opportunity of a lifetime to thank everyone, to be humble, to show humility, you know, that he was even invited because he had to work his way into the fight. He had to talk his way into this shit. And if it wasn't for the president, his ass wouldn't even been on the card. The president didn't even care about him. He wanted to see the other guy fight because he likes the other guy, his opponent that got splish splashed. He was taking a bath, right? And what does this dude say? I don't even know if I should say it. They might kill my whole shit, but I'm going to say it anyways. I'm going to work around it. This man went on to say that Michelle, and we all know who Michelle is. No, not Michael. Michelle, maybe. Michelle, right? We'll leave it like that. Michelle Obama is masculine, right? But he said is a man. And I could not believe my ears, man. Wow. You know, someone actually said it. Someone really in real life went to in front of the White House with millions of people watching yesterday because there was a lot of people watching. It was an event, spectacular event. First time ever UFC, all 7 fights ended with 7 finishes, right? No decisions, none of that. You got knocked out. There was no tap outs. Everyone just got knocked out. It was crazy. Or stopped, or they just quit on the stool, like the main event. But anyways, or they quit for him on the stool. Whatever. Motherfucker was beat up. This dude said Michelle Obama is a man. He said, y'all know it? Hey, look, was that the stupidest, dumbest move ever in UFC history? I don't know. But one thing I know for sure is this man better watch his back. This man better be on his fucking toes. Don't worry about Derek Lewis. Don't worry about Shama. Don't worry about none of them cats. But he needs to worry about what he says. There's a time and a place for everything. Look, do I disagree with them? Not totally. Okay, I'm not dumb. I don't believe conspiracy theories and her whole shit was moving on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Like, I seen something there. I don't know what it was. But, you know, I tend not to try to look in that region. But when you think it's a woman, you do. And then at the same time, you get bamboozled. Right? I am a lady boy. Right? I don't know what's going on. But I know that this motherfucker right here was nuts for saying that on that type of platform. And I'm very concerned with his health and his safety. Because this social media shit is crazy. People are already taking clips. They're already flipping it. They're already making it like a conspiracy theory and worse. And look, at this dude is an idiot. He could fight his ass off, but he says some things sometimes that just are uncalled for. He didn't need to disrespect, you know, Poetan's mom. He did not need to, you know, you challenge someone to a fight. You just tell me, hey, look, bro, you see what I just did. I didn't smash this dude. If you want it, come get it. And that right there would have been good enough for us. Everyone would have been like, yeah, let's see that. But this man had to outdo himself. You know, I noticed that in the world of sports, like I said, you can't just let your hands do it. You have to have mouthpiece. You have to put on good promos. And that's what this dude is. He's a promo machine and he just says things. But I think this time, man, that was uncalled for. Look, I'm not a crybaby. I'm not fucking someone that's a sympathizer with one cause over the other. I'm independent, man. I stand in the middle. It's where I'm going to stay standing because I think some good things going on over here. I think some good things are going on over there. I think some weird shit's going a lot of the weird shit's going on over there. But at the same time, who am I to fucking dictate anyone's program or even speak on that? Whatever they got going on, they got going on. But to say that Michelle Obama is masculine is crazy, right? Because not only is it disrespectful to the people that support, you know, the other side, not is it disrespectful, you know, right there at the White House during that time and an event like that, you know, and there's going to be people that advocate for him and say, well, he's just speaking his mind. He has the freedom of speech. Yeah. Save that shit. All that freedom of speech stuff. Yeah, you do have the freedom of speech, but know when to speak. Know when to speech, right? Know when to say things, because that, there was children watching, there's people watching, and now you got kids asking questions like, well, for reals? She really is? I don't know. Ask Obama if he walks funny, then maybe, maybe. But at the end of the day, it's nobody's business or nobody's concern whether or not, right? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so look, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't believe the shit. But there has been some disputable proof. Disputable, how do you say disputable? Despicable, that dude was, right? Some despicable proof. It just is what it is. But I want to say at the end of the day, man, I wanted to do this quick video to say, man, what's going to happen next? People need to really watch this guy, because if something bad happens to him, if his plane happens to fall out the sky, if he happens to get struck by a bolt of lightning, if he happens to choke on Captain Crunch cereal, then, man, people are going to be talking. You just don't do it. There's certain people you don't disrespect in this world, right? I can give you the laundry list, and it's a short list of people that you don't do that to, and that was one of them. So we're going to see, hey, look, it's getting talked about. So obviously this guy's name is getting put out. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to sell fights. He knows how to sell himself, but it's wild. Now, let me tell you guys a story about Josh Hokit, right? So I got a lot of homeboys that are Bulldogs. A lot of homeboys that are Bulldogs, from Bulldog's gang. And we all know that the Bulldogs derived their whole get down from the mascot of Fresno State University, right? The college. And so there ain't a Bulldog in fucking Fresno that don't got Fresno State gear. That's what they wear because that represents their gang. And so homeboy called me last night. He was like, you trip out, bro. I know that dude. He said, that dude went to Clovis High School. I said, serio? He said, bro, I was there with them. He said, bro, look, trip out. That dude was nothing like that. Like he could fight and shit, but he wasn't no UFC fight. He was just like a jock. And I said, oh, that's what's up. And so I was like, nah, for reals, you were with him? He said, serio? He goes, not for reals, bro. He's like, dude's like 28. The homie's a youngster too, right? So he was like, nah, for reals. I swear to God, I was with that dude. He said, trip out on this. Now, this is secondhand information. I wasn't there to see it, man, but I'm just telling you, speaking on it. So he tells me that there's cruising on Kings Canyon. Everybody cruises. I've been cruised over there, got cruised on right there in my head, fucking by some Bulldogs. They jumped on us at a taco truck. Like everyone used to go to, in the valley, everyone goes to, they used to go to graffiti nights in Modesto. Right there. That was the spot. McHenry, cruise up and down McHenry. They kind of shut that down. Kings Canyon was the spot for a lot of years. I don't know if they even still cruise there, but it was a spot. And then Moody Boulevard, which is in the Visalia area, right? So those were like the spots. You can go to Story and King up there in Sanjo, or even Frisco, downtown Frisco, Mob, Oakland. You don't go there. Don't go there, man. You might see fucking a different Obama over there. It's just different, right? But anyways, they'll fucking rob you over there. But anyways, he says that they were cruising down McHenry, man, and they ran into this dude and some jocks, and they got into it with these dudes, and they fucked this dude up. That this dude screaming and everything. He goes, so when that fool says shit like that, gets all crazy, that's fake as fuck. Yeah, but bro, fool has hands. He goes, nah, bro, he has hands now, but he didn't have hands then. So I mean, I don't know if somebody's just fronting or whatever. Just wanted to tell a funny story about this dude, about beating on him. But I was like, hey, this fool, was he a gang member now? He's like, nah, he was just a jock, bro. He's just a regular dude, man. He went to Clovis High. He's just cool. And he goes, but he was like, in school, he was a cool dude. He wasn't like this. So obviously that lets me know that this dude is just selling a character. He's creating a character and selling it. And sometimes, man, he's doing the right thing as far as he knows what he has to do to sell fights to generate interest, right? But at the end of the day, man, saying shit like that, when you get political, that's why stay away from politics, stay away from religion. You should know that already. No one's ever going to agree. Everyone's always going to disagree. There's always going to be drama. There's always going to be trouble. People are always going to have their opinion. And the most fights I've ever seen by squares, right, has happened over religion and politics. You know, when I pulled up to Portland over there, and I went to the what was it? It was the INS building, right? And I pulled up and I was just tripping out on how many people are arguing and mad about one thing or another. And it's like, fuck, we're all people, eh? You guys are willing to go to prison and trip out and do all this over something you can't control. It's going to happen anyways. You fucking can't control. Well, we got the freedom and the rights to do it. Yeah, they have the right to arrest your ass too. Like there's certain times, there's a time and a place for everything. And sometimes it's not the fucking time or place, you know? But so one thing I learned a long time ago is if you involve yourself in that to a certain degree, man, keep it down the middle. You know, be a man, stand on yours, be a woman, stand on yours, but be smart as well, man, because a lot of people have children. A lot of people have lives outside of what they're doing at that particular moment. And some people, their lives become that. They get enwrapped in that. And it's weird, right? But this dude went on the UFC in the middle of the ring and said Michelle Obama was a man. Now, I know to regular people, they're like, so what? But that is playing with fire. You know, there's a conspiracy going around about Joan Rivers. I don't know if it's true or not, but she made some reference to that as well and didn't last too long. So hopefully this guy, you know, he got his clip. He said what he said and he stands on it. But I think it was uncalled for and disrespectful, to be honest, to be totally honest with you, man. Kids were watching, people were watching. We were watching to see the fights. We were watching to see someone get political and trying to make a statement. If you notice, the whole crowd didn't even cheer. They were just like, is this motherfucker crazy? Motherfuckers was in that motherfucker like, I agree, but at this point, I'm on camera. Fuck this dude. Nobody wanted that smoke. Anyways, with that being said, man, I just wanted to put that out there. I thought that was crazy. What do you guys think? Do you think he ended his career? Do you think Dana White's going to be like, nah, man, you did too much? Or do you think he's going to be in the back hugging him like, you did that, eh? Right? You know, there's a lot, like I said, a time and a place for everything, and I don't think that was the time. But he did that. He did that. And there's a lot of motherfuckers that are right there rocking with him like, yeah, that's right. You said what we won't say. And he's like, yeah, why won't you say it? Because we want to live, right? And that's it. And whether you choose to believe that rumor or not, it's totally up to you, man. I'm not a dumb individual, and I've been around for too long, man. And there's certain things that I'll tell you, yeah, there's truth to it, or there's not. But as far as Josh Hokit, man, a fighter, fuck, that motherfucker's bad, bro. He did his thing. And I would love to create maybe another channel where I speak on sports, because I love sports. I like talking about that stuff, but no one will watch that shit. No one cares about that. They care about the drama, right? Not the shama. So anyways, with that being said, what do you guys think? Let me know. Do you think that was the stupidest fucking move ever? Or do you think, hey, he has his right to speak on what he wants to speak on? Like I said, everyone can say whatever they want. I'm down with that. I'm down with freedom of speech. I've always have been. But I'm also down with shut the fuck up when you need to shut the fuck up, right? With that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people. Hey, we need to understand as a people, there's certain things that shouldn't be spoken out loud. Keep it right here. You know, I learned that a long time ago in prison. You know, the ones that usually get whacked, get removed, get ran off the yard are the ones that want to be all up in the mix. They want to have their voices be felt and heard. They feel they're equivalent because they're told like, hey, everyone has say in this, but no, everyone does. The truth is not everyone has say, man. You know, everyone needs to play their role. And I was one of those dudes that understood that, like, play your role. And the very first time that I really heartfelt about something, it didn't work out for me. And now I'm on YouTube talking about fucking UFC fighters. So that goes to show you, sometimes you keep your fucking mouth shut and it'll work out for you. This video is sponsored by Barrio Liquors in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the Central Valley in Turlock, California, man, pull up to the Barrio, get you something cold to drink. Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service in Tucson, Arizona. If you're ever in the Tucson area and you just moved there and you need some yard work done and you need an estimate, make sure that you tap in Google Sticks and Stones Yard Service. Hook you for the low, man. I got you. With that being said, thank you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Is this dude an idiot?